So as everybody's coming in, if you have an opportunity to think about these questions right now, this is an opportunity to send your responses in the chat. You can go down to the chat box and just select Noel. We'd love to know how things are going in the virtual school, what's working for you, what's working for your kids, what's not going well. I mean, share positives and negatives. We'd love to hear them all. And actually, anybody wants to share that openly right now, would love to hear. I mean, we're all doing the same thing with our kids.
Knox has really enjoyed it. He's actually been really engaged, and he seems to really enjoy it. Good. The teacher does a great job. I don't know how they have adapted so quickly, but she has them engaged. She has them doing activities. They do like a lunch on Friday mornings with another class, so they get to see other kids. So it's neat. I mean, he's enjoyed it.
That's a good idea.
So Callum's in the same class as Knox.
Yes.
So I know they have so much fun. Maybe a little distracting to our kids. I mean, they were doing charades over here today. He looked up the biggest bat in the world and was throwing out these guesses. So we're doing good.
It seems a lot more like school than it was in the fall and the spring. I feel like it was more scheduled. It was, it was a better flow. It didn't seem as like, what do we have to get on to get this, this class or this, so it's been a lot easier to navigate also.
Yeah, I think that I'm like blown away with how well like the teachers are like handling like the students like over Zoom, like completely blown away. And I have a talker, so I'm like really shocked.
The teachers have been incredible. It's amazing.
Yes, and the time, I have to be honest, like talking to friends in like other school districts, it's the perfect amount of time. Like,
good to hear.
Yeah, perfect amount.
It's good to have so Knox does the morning, and then he has like a little bit of a break, and then specials, and that's perfect. It's definitely.
I popped in Miss Sanford's class, and they were all cracking me up.
They're always like laughing or doing
it's
stuff.
Quite the crew in there.
He's always chasing around my dog or cat, trying to get them on the video. I'm like, come on. Bailey's tried to jump on a couple times with him.
That's great.
I will say the only problem that we have had, and it's just a little problem, is just the buses for the lunches, which is great, and we appreciate the lunches and everything, but we have 3 kids, 2 different schools, 2 school buses, and the first bus that gets here, they want to know how many kids you have, and they're giving you food for that many kids. And the elementary school bus coming from Baker-Butler, it doesn't get here till noon to our bus stop, and that's when my 5th grader goes on. So they've been getting high school lunches. That's what they've been calling it. So
is it better?
Are they better? Is it different food?
I don't know.
They
just think
better food. I don't know.
They just think it's special because it's from the high school, because it's coming from the high school bus.
Just
It might be.
Yeah. Just let them think that. Yep.
Yeah, go with it.
If they eat it, don't complain.
No, and I don't have to cook for them in that hour I have. So
There you go. Enjoy it.
I have to say the new iPads because I have a 1st and 2nd grader, they have really made everything so much smoother.
Good.
And I got them styluses, which helps with the drawing and the things that have been so frustrating to them in the past. But they are really, and then I get my tablet back, which is also nice.
That's awesome.
But those are a real
Awesome.
nice touch last week. Yeah.
I had to set about 7 alarms on my phone, and they go off all morning long. The first 2 weeks, everybody was able to remember their schedule, but then Monday and Tuesday of this week, everybody was late for everything they had to be to, because they kind of they'd be outside playing and realized 10 minutes into their specials that they weren't there. So I feel like my responsibility has turned into tech support, time manager, and just constant snack mate.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word right there.
I had to get on Knox the other day. He was eating a chicken nugget while he was in his PE specials. I was like, what are you doing?
Multitasking.
Yeah. Liam asked me today if he could put pretzels in his pocket in case he has a break in his pocket.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then Knox asked, he said, so are we going to have homework? Because all we're doing is work from home. I was like,
Oh. Honestly, this kind of thing helps. I really think it helps to talk to other people about what's going on because, I mean, there's a lot of really chaotic moments, and that's not the stuff that you're going to see anybody post online or necessarily talk about. But I think the more that people share about the good things and the funny things, then you start to get to like the overlapping crises that all happen at one time.
Oh, yeah. I love actually being able to hear Harper's answers to things. Like Miss Borman had asked what they wanted to be when they grew up. And Harper was like, all the other kids had these like amazing answers like engineer. And my kid said, I want to be a stylist because I'm the only one in my family that thinks makeup is important or wears makeup or something like that. And I was like we've been home for a long time. I wear makeup, Harper, but it was good comic relief to hear that like exchange.
Awesome. Oh man.
That's fun.
All right, guys. Well, do you want to get this meeting started? It's 7:04. So I hope that everybody's had a chance to at least look at these questions. And if you don't feel like saying them openly right now, throughout this entire meeting, you can send your questions or your answers to any of the questions that you see posted to Noelle in the chat box. And this meeting is being recorded. And so this will give us a chance to go through some of your responses later and either share them on the PTO or share them with Seth or share them with Dee Dee and Randy Wellborn, Dee Dee Leach and Randy Wellborn, the teacher representatives. So here's a brief look at what our agenda is going to look like tonight. We're going to introduce all the board members and we're going to vote because this is our first meeting of the year. So we've got a couple of necessary agenda items and business items to go through for PTO before we get into anything else. And we're going to have to go through, this is the most extensive time that we go through the budget of all the different PTO meetings. And we've done a lot of changes to our budget this year, and we're going to have to vote on that. Then we're going to have a chance to hear from Mr. Kennard, and then we're going to get a chance to hear from Megan Argo, our parent council representative, and then we'll hear some different updates and things that are going on within the PTO and have a chance at the end for some questions and answers. So again, if you have any questions, whether they're related to anything that's PTO or principal and administration or parent council, anything that you're thinking about, go ahead and send those to Noelle. And we're just having them go to her privately so that she can field them at the end, similar to how Seth and Christine did them during the town halls before school started. And as a reminder at the beginning of this meeting will be recorded, and that's primarily to help us out later for keeping the minutes and also so we can keep track of these questions and answers. My name is Allison Oakes, and which should be under my name here or under my picture. We spent a lot of time this summer as a board talking about what the PTO is all about, because this year for school feels super strange. And it was really good for all of us to sit down and just make sure that we're all still unified in what the mission of the parent-teacher organization is. And it was good for us to go through this and remember that we exist to facilitate a sense of community, to promote open communication among students, parents, and staff, to provide support for students' educational and recreational needs. And we do this through financial gifts and volunteer efforts. And so yes, this year may look different, and it already does look very different. We are all still members of the parent-teacher organization because we're all parents, we're all teachers, and there's no membership. I mean, you don't have to join to be part of the PTO at Baker-Butler, and you're all members of this. And whether we're under the blue roof or we're learning remotely in our living rooms or basements or wherever, we're still part of this school family together. We still need one another, and I hope that we can think creatively how to be together with each other. Some of the highlights, this is something that we started last year, which I think is cool. Just at the beginning of every meeting, thinking about some of the things that are going well within our school community. And I think that what we were just sharing is really awesome. I mean, a lot of parents were just talking about how they've been super impressed with the engagement of their kids' teachers and the way that the teachers are reaching out to make sure that kids are being taught and seen and have their needs met. And I think the creativity of getting the school supplies sent home on the school buses is awesome. And it was a huge highlight in our neighborhood last week, just having all these families gathered for about 15 minutes at the bus stop to see one another. It felt like the way that it's supposed to be. And I think that little touch points like that make a big difference. We've also found as a PTO organization that we couldn't quite figure out why we had this huge healthy reserve. And so we're really grateful from the past boards that have done a great job of raising a lot of money. And we're not quite sure, what went into all of that, but we're super thankful now in 2020, 2021, because we are going to be significantly hit in terms of income, but we find ourselves super grateful that we've got a healthy person. We can still give generously to the school, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And the other thing that I think is cool that we're seeing too is just parents that are reaching out to one another, parents that are taking care of each other, and really just taking care of whether it's your neighbor or friends in your classes, and thinking creatively about how you can just be a support. And then I'm going to introduce everybody. So Noelle Jorgensen is our vice president. Noelle, you can either speak up or just raise your hand. People can scroll through. Names are included on here. Nicole Burkholder is our treasurer. Jessica Goins is our secretary. Cassie Morrison is our volunteer coordinator. And Jennifer Sims, who's doing this in her car. I don't think she said she has tech support. I just got a text from her, or excuse me, tech issues. So she may not be able to be seen or heard tonight, but she was the after school club coordinator in last year, but we don't have any clubs going on right now. So she's become our website guru, which is fantastic. You guys are going to quickly see that is not my forte. So we actually, hold on, let me go back a slide. All of us are interested in doing this job for another year, and our bylaws say that each position you can be in each position for 2 years. And so we need to vote us in. And I want to go ahead and just say that each position can actually have a second volunteer. So if anybody is interested in serving, there can be 2 presidents, 2 treasurers, 2 secretaries, 2 volunteer coordinators. Because this is our second year for all of us, we're going to be done at the end of this year. So it would be great if anybody's interested in joining us. It would be great training for the following year. So you can email me at bakerbutlerpto@gmail.com, which that email is on the next slide here. Do I have a motion? Crystal? Where is she? No, hold on.
Sorry. I make a motion that we maintain the same board members this school year.
Second?
I second that.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you. Even if you're not interested in a board position, there's a ton of other different ways that you can get involved. You can go to the PTO webpage, bakerbutlerpto.org, and fill out the time and talent survey if you haven't already done that. Or you can just contact Cassie Morrison. She's really great at connecting people and finding ways to plug people in. These meetings are also a really fantastic way to find out what's going on and stay connected. And honestly, I found that the more I just talk to parents, talk to teachers, see what's going on at the school, you'll end up finding what your niche is. I firmly believe that everybody has a skill, has a gift, has something to do, and could be utilized. Nicole, I'm going to turn it over to you here for the treasurer's report.
All right, still getting used to unmuting myself. So, yes, so as Allison already alluded to, we have and had a very nice healthy reserve that would cover 1 year of absolutely no income. And so what we as a board recognize is that we do still have ways of making money this year that don't involve in-person things like the Fall Festival and some other of our really good income generators. And so, as you can see on our chart, on our budget here, you know, we've got spiritware. In fact, we've already sold an item apparently that we had in our current inventory. The attractions book, which is a real good income generator for us, that's already gone out. I believe it was it Monday that it started. And of course, then also you see some of the things that we're keeping in there in hopes that perhaps we could do a bike rodeo or a fall festival that we could turn to something else. We wanted to keep them in there just as reminders of what we might still be able to do at some point. The book fair is, I believe, going to be virtual. Is that correct, Allison?
It's something that we're going to look into. There's a lot of creative options from Scholastic, and we're hoping that we can still have a book fair this year. We're just not quite sure when and how.
Right. Right. And then we do have some yearbook sales. Those are actually, of course, yearbook sales from last year. So that's it for the last year's book. So that's some actually unanticipated income that, of course, will help us with everything. And then, as always, the Feed the Bear is a really great way to support the PTO and just everything that we can do. And doesn't require much time or effort, and any little bit helps, as they say. And we'll put it towards some of the things you'll see more as we get to the expenses. The Amazon Smile is a great way to do stuff. I have it already on my app. Everything I buy from Amazon, which is a lot lately because you can't find things in stores, but everything I buy goes, some portion of it goes right to the school. There's no muss, no fuss, and you can tag it so it automatically does it each time. And then, of course, we have our sponsors. We've already had 2 sponsors, and I believe there's another one that's going to be coming through. Allison, do you want me to say, or are they going to be posted on the website, I guess, the sponsor names?
Sure, go ahead and say.
Yeah, I mean, it was Edmund Jones, is somebody from Edmund Jones, and then the dentist. I apologize, actually, I don't remember the dentist name.
Remington Stover.
Okay, yeah. So those are some great ways to do it. And then, as I said before, we've kind of left a lot of the things that were some usual events for us in hopes that we can either find a way to do spirit nights. And then, of course, we'll be able to get some income like that. But overall, we're only anticipating at best, we were pretty conservative in $8,300 of income, and we've gotten $1,300, almost $1,400 so far.
Want to go to expenses?
We can go to the expenses. So a couple of things. Obviously, to note, we've got some of our usual things. We have art for supplies, of course, no assemblies, no field trips, health clinic, library books, some music, PE, and we increased, actually we added the principal discretionary fund, and Seth was very generous and used some of his funds for the whiteboards for the students this year. And we do have the teacher incidentals as well. And of course, a new category is COVID supplies. This is, of course, anticipating us being in person at some point for some events, which will be, we'll all keep our fingers crossed about that. And then these are all and then the rest are all some of our usual items, hospitality and things for the people that work at the school and people that support the school in other areas. We also, as you go down to the teacher morale and appreciation luncheon, we use some of those funds also for the boards to support the children and the teachers. And all on through also, as well as the school enhancements. So we have some usual expenses, the copiers, the printing, technology for us being able to scan, use the credit card machine and the Square and things like that. Then, of course, our fundraising expenses really won't come into play until we actually do some things. Of course, Spirit Wear will be an expense. We're planning on doing some new purchasing, I believe, for that. And the attractions book, which obviously is in there in the book fair. And unfortunately, we're not able to do the election day this year, which is usually a big one for us, just because of obviously all of the restrictions on things like that. So in the end, as we ended last year, we had $27,698 in the bank account, and if all goes according to this budget, we will be using about $14,441 of that budget, of that reserve, and leaving the next year's with some money, so that they're not, since everything is so unknown, we don't want to leave the next board in dire straits. That's it.
Okay, I need a motion to approve this. Let's vote on it.
I motion to approve the 2021 budget.
Second.
Passes, thank you. Okay, Jessica? Let's see. Can you unmute?
Yes.
Okay, great. You want to talk about the minutes from March? Are you there? Yeah.
I'm here.
The minutes from March are on the website. Yep. So if anybody has gotten a chance to read them and wants to make a motion to approve them, that was our last meeting, unfortunately. Our last general meeting.
I make a motion to approve the March 2020 minutes.
I second.
Thank you. Okay. Seth?
Awesome. Can you let me share my screen, Allison? Maybe turn that one off so I can.
Yep.
All right, cool. Good evening, everyone. It's been a long time since we all got together like this. It's good to see you. I was chatting with Dee and Randy and Miles as we were talking, and we were so excited to get some positive feedback about virtual learning as it started, because it's been, I mean, I don't think as parents, how hard this is on your end, and we're not minimizing that at all, but it's just been such a massive amount of work on the teacher's end too, where all those little times during the day they have to plan and catch up and use a restroom and have lunch are all now just all punted to Friday based on how the schedule is, and they're working an amazing amount. And I have to tell you, I get to visit classrooms every day, and I'm now an internet principal, and I just kind of pop in and pop out, and I see these teachers doing everything, including standing on their heads to keep our kids engaged, and it's just amazing. So I'm very grateful to our teachers, and your patience as parents has been just breathtaking. So thank you. I know this is hard. It's good to see everyone's faces, and I'm hopeful that we'll slowly be able to get our kids back in the building soon and get some normalcy back. I have a kindergarten, third grade, and fifth grader in my house right now doing virtual learning. And I'm in the school most of the day, so my wife is working from home and dealing with that. So I get the other side of it as well. And imagining my 5-year-old trying to pay attention to an iPad in the morning, it's very difficult. So I'm right there with you. I do want to go over a few things that are happening at the school and then answer any questions that you have. So I'm going to share my screen here. And the first thing I want to talk about is that today we were named a National Blue Ribbon School for the US. So there's only 8 schools in all of Virginia that were awarded that this year, something like 400 nationally, which is a pretty big deal. The first school in the county to ever get the award, and the first school to get it for closing the achievement gap, which is what it was. So this is an award that we were nominated for, and it's basically based on just the hard work of our teachers. They look at data for the last several years, the data when Dr. Saunders was still principal. I'm not taking credit. And then they look at the nomination packet, which was completed by the teachers and by our superintendent and the school board, and our school was selected for this award, which is really, really cool. So there'll be more information about this tomorrow coming out. It was just named this afternoon, but it is a big deal, and the first time it's happened in the county, and we're excited that happened at our school, and it's a huge reflection of the work our teachers are doing. So I strongly believe if there are a blue ribbon for virtual teaching, they'd also get that one too. So I want to talk about some of our new hires that we have at our school this year. We did have several retirements last year. We had some growth positions. So I want to briefly introduce these to you. And I will put this slideshow, I'll give it to Allison so you don't have to read through it right now. So I'm going to give you kind of a brief intro to each person. But each new staff member did complete information about their background, why they're excited to join our school, and then something about them that might be interesting facts. So I'm not going to read them all to you, but you'll have access to them after the meeting. The first one is Peter Arquette, who's a 4th grade teacher, who is a really, really engaging teacher. And I'm being able to visit his classroom every day. I just see the students drawn to him. He's great. He has a lot of middle school experience, 17 years. He's also been assistant principal before, but just relocated to the area and wanted to get his foot in the door at Elmore County. He's teaching 4th grade. Jamie Durkin is new to us. She comes from Charlottesville City. She's also a native Spanish speaker. She went to Virginia Tech and got her master's and bachelor's there, but she's taught 2nd grade and 4th grade before in the city. And again, she's super creative and doing a great job in her classroom. Liz Higdon is a 5th grade teacher. She's a 1st-year teacher coming from UVA. She also student taught at our school with Miss Rush in 4th grade, and now she's teaching 5th grade. And we'll talk more about 5th grade right now, but they have their own special spot in the building. And she was a really popular student teacher in 4th grade, so a lot of our students were really excited when they got to have her in 5th grade this year. Megan Jackson is coming from middle school. She's at Sutherland teaching 6th grade. She is now leading our 5th grade team. She's our 5th grade team chair. And she is just an amazing teacher, one of the most organized and energetic people I've ever met in my life. And just, she is the first one at work in the morning, the last one to leave in the afternoon. She's fantastic. And then Drew Kraft is another 5th grade teacher. He's been in New York City for the last couple of years while his wife was starting a new job. But prior to that, he was at Agner Hurt. And he's excited to be back in the county. And he is just a very, very creative teacher who's found out millions of ways to keep students engaged, and also found out a way to convert all the desks in his classroom into portable ping pong tables, which is what he'll do between Zoom sessions. Kindy O'Reilly is our new kindergarten teacher. She is one of the coolest people I've ever met. She actually was at my daughter's school student teaching at Kale, or now it's Mountain View. And I got to meet her and just spent basically 6 months convincing her why she needed to work at Baker-Butler, because she's that good. She's super engaging, super sweet, and I literally have to tear her off of her computer as I'm leaving at the end of the day because I don't think she'll ever go home. She is just everything you want in a kindergarten teacher and more. Haley Ballard is also one of our new kindergarten teachers. She just moved here from Georgia. She was actually a later hire, and she is just amazing. She's really, really, really engaged with the students, and she comes with a really strong equity lens from the program she had for her master's degree. And she's one of these teachers who's hit the ground running with her class, and we could not be happier to have her on board. Caitlin Devine is our new 3rd grade teacher, and she's taught all over. She's taught in Switzerland, she's taught in West Virginia, but she is coming to us locally. And this is her 8th year teaching, and she is just, she's born for 3rd grade, and she's doing a fantastic job with that team. 3rd grade had a few new teachers this year, and they are probably the tightest team I've worked with in a long time. They literally do everything together. Emily Stern is also a new 3rd grade teacher. She was also a student teacher, so we kind of molded her to the Baker-Butler way. She just finished with her master's at UVA, and she has spent the entire summer living in her classroom preparing for the school year. And then Patty Shiflett has been in Charlottesville City and Elmore County for about 23 years. She was an instructional coach for several years and wanted to return back to the classroom. And she was actually an instructional coach at Baker-Butler for a few years. So before she came back to teach, she worked with our teachers on their instruction. So she's well known, she knows exactly what she's doing, and she came in without missing a beat. And Lena Levanchieva is a new 3rd grade teacher coming to us from Brownsville. She has a lot of experience. She's been a teacher here for 9 years. She was at Brownsville teaching 1st grade. She wanted to try a little bit older grade and came to 3rd grade. She's a daughter who'll be starting kindergarten soon at Baker-Butler. And she is just incredibly engaged with her students and with their families. And she's also working as an interventionist in the afternoon at our school. Kim Reeder is a special education teacher. She also did some work here as a long-term sub last year. She's also extremely dedicated to her students. Will do lots of driveway visits, meeting them on weekends from social distancing, and works with a variety of our special education programs. And Emily Hume is also a new special education teacher who came to us. She's actually also taught in England. So she has a little bit of an English accent that comes out once in a while, which I find fascinating. But she's a really, really engaged teacher coming out of Longwood University, but she's had plenty of experience overseas as well. And finally, Courtney Burnson is our new school counselor. Mrs. Moon did retire, so Courtney is working to keep Miles in line, and Miles is at this meeting, so I can say that. So I'm not talking behind his back, I'm talking in front of his face. He always needs a strong role model. But Courtney is coming to us from the private sector. She was over at the Peabody School as her counselor. This is her 14th year as a counselor, and her house is directly against the Baker-Butler property line, so she can literally walk through the woods to work every day. So those are our new hires for this school year. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot Kate Elwood. We have a new kindergarten TA, Kate Elwood, who is really, really cool. Her daughter was in preschool last year at Baker-Butler, and much like Kindia, when we knew we'd have an opening, and having been able to see her and her daughter in the mornings, we knew that she'd be a great match for our school. So we're super excited she's able to join us this year as a kindergarten teaching assistant. So this summer, we've been busy not only preparing for 5 different scenarios of what school could look like, but also literally expanding the building. So we did add a 5th grade village. We're calling them modulars. We're not calling them trailers. Yes, they arrived on wheels, was the question I'm always asked, but did they come on wheels? Yes, they came on wheels, but they are no longer on wheels. They are our modulars. So they're put behind the school by the basketball court. And there's 6 5th grade classrooms out there, and they're fully functional. In fact, all of our 5th grade teachers are teaching from them every single day. So we have 5 5th grade classrooms, and all of them come in every day to teach from this space. There's a hallway right there. So it looks like a traditional school hallway. The boxes in there are going away. Those are all new smart boards that just arrived. But they're set up like traditional classrooms. They are just as big, if not bigger, than the classrooms in the building. The same square footage. There's 4 windows per classroom. Large walls and whiteboards and smart boards and tons of space. So right there's a picture of Miss Davison, one of our 5th grade teachers, doing her virtual instruction earlier today. They also have traditional hall bathrooms. So when you're in them, they look just like the rest of the school. One of the things that we're doing beyond just expanding the building is also working on expanding how we're getting materials out to students. So this is a picture from before I left today, this afternoon, is we are starting to send out school supplies and school information through our bus routes. So before the meeting started, someone was mentioning about the lunches being delivered on buses. We're also delivering school supplies on buses. So if students need certain materials for lessons coming up, or there's materials they might need in their home that they don't have for any type of work, teachers can bag those materials, and we've routed every student in our zone to be able to meet the bus at the bus stop and pick up those materials on Fridays. So in the mornings on Fridays, your teachers will notify you if things are coming home, and the bus drivers will come to your stop, and you'll have your bag with your student's name on it that has materials. So this is all the stuff that's going out tomorrow. I think we have 211 stops tomorrow for our buses. So that will be different every week depending on what the lessons are. But our goal is very soon to start using the same process for library books, where students can request library books, and then we'll have like a busmobile, bookmobile situation where the bus drivers can drop off books at bus stops that they request. So we're working on the logistics of that, but right now we're focused on school supplies and materials for learning. And that is all I have for my fancy slideshow, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about virtual learning, about our budget, about anything in general. I cannot answer the question of when students are coming back, but I can remind you that that decision will be made by our school board, and they vote on whether we are going to move up to the next stage on October 8th, which is 2 weeks from today, I think, right? And they'll make a decision there if we go into stage 3. And just as a reminder, stage 3 is where we have the preschool through 3rd grade students returning to the classroom in some type of format, and the distancing and all those things would apply as they're in school. So are there any questions I can answer either through chat or through unmuting? Well, fantastic. Miles is thinking about it. I can see his facial expressions over there. All right, guys. Just a reminder on Mondays from 11 to 12:30, Christine and I have office hours on Zoom. You can log in, ask us questions. We're always available by email or phone, but in case you want to just pop in and say hello, just because it gets kind of quiet, so feel free to pop in and say hello. We'll send a link out every single Monday. And we're trying to have our communication go through Seesaw and the newsletter only. So if you have anything that you have questions about or you're not receiving anything, please let us know. It's our goal to make this very difficult situation as accessible as possible, given what we're doing. So if there's any ideas on how to do that better, we do want to hear them. And thank you.
Thanks, Seth. All right, if you have any other questions that come up for what Seth just shared, go ahead and put it in the chat for Noelle, and we can ask those at the very end. Is my screen being shared again? Nope, it's not. Sorry about that. All right, hang on a second, guys.
It might still be in Seth's, I don't know, since Seth had the ability to share screen, maybe it needs to go back. I don't know. There we go.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your patience. We're being patient for everything in 2020, aren't we? Okay. Teacher reps. Dee Dee, you're up.
Great. First of all, I just kind of want to echo what Seth said. Just a big thank you to parents and families for their support through this time. You know, to walk into the school on the first day, to see those positive messages written on the sidewalk was very encouraging. And then just getting emails and notes from different people in the community, whether it's parents from our classroom or just other family members in our school community. It just really means a lot. And it takes a lot of patience. We're all learning new things, as I've said to our students. But as I've told them, we're going to get through it. We're not going to be defeated. This is whatever's going on is not going to stop us from learning and having fun. So, but a big thank you to all of you for your support. Just a couple of things, just to kind of echo what, again, what Seth sent out a couple weeks ago in an email or into a newsletter. We want to receive your emails, but as we are managing everything online, we've got the Zoom going on and chat and other things going on. So if parents need to get in touch with us, if you send an email during our instructional time, it's hard for us to multitask multiple things. So we will get to those at the end of the day. So if it's something that's, that you really need to get to or you need help with, we encourage you to call the office. If it's a tech issue, I know Lisa Beecham's been great at solving a lot of those tech issues, or to call the help desk with the county. We've also started assessments, and it's all new. We're doing it virtual. And so we just ask that if your child is being assessed, that you let them answer on their own so that we can get a true data of their assessment during this time. And then also just the bus delivery. We know last week there may have been a few bumps and some glitches, and I think those things were being worked out. But it's a great opportunity for us to get materials out to families and also to be able to connect. I know when I'm in our class and I'm instructing and a student's like, I don't have this or I need that. I'm like, okay, you know, it's coming on Friday. And also an opportunity for the students to look forward to something that they're used to, the bus and a familiar face. But we did hear some feedback that either parents couldn't get to the bus stop or maybe they missed the bus. So I encourage neighborhoods or communities, or if you have friends, to reach out and maybe have one person gather the materials and then just do like a porch drop off to help parents who might be working or not be able to get to the bus stop. So those are all I have. Ms. Wellborn?
Yeah, the only thing that I would add about the bus pickup is You know, if it doesn't work out with working schedules and things like that, it's great if we can know in advance, maybe like by Wednesday afternoon, so that we can pull those kids' bags and have them for parent pickup and things like that. So I was getting some emails today saying that they couldn't make the bus stop and that they would prefer parent pickup, and I'd already stuffed. So giving teachers enough notice so that we can pull bags and have them ready is a great help to us, because we try to get everything ready by Wednesday afternoons, so that Thursday they can be packed and ready for the buses on Friday. So letting them know if it doesn't work out and you prefer pickup or you need to arrange something else is helpful to know ahead of time.
Yeah, and just if you miss the bus, it's okay. It all comes back to the school by noon, and you can just come between noon and 4, and we'll find it for you. So if you tell us by Wednesday, otherwise we'll see you Friday afternoon.
But it's exciting, and we thanks to the bus drivers for doing it and getting it all organized.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Megan Argo is our parent council representative and meeting last week. So Megan, you want to
hello everyone.
Introduce?
All right, so I just wanted to go over, so what the parent council is, the mission is, it's to serve as a forum for families, educators, and school officials to share ideas and exchange information in order to further advance the quality of public education and ACPS. So I kind of view it as, collective coming together if we have good ideas to take forth to help improve environments if there's something that's not working. I'm a strong advocate. I really enjoy advocating for families. So if, anything with the school community, anything that's not working. So my background is mental health support for children. I've been in schools for the past 10 years. So I understand how everything works as far as, especially like IEPs, 504s, anything of that nature that parents need help with, advice, etc. Come to me, I can help. So moving forward, in October, we have our next meeting, and it's discussion about mental health and school supports. And so there's 4 questions that we've listed here, and I would really like to get feedback, if possible, from you all as far as how your children are doing and what you see as needs, or if there's anything that's being missed. At the next PTO meeting, we're hoping to also present some getting some options as far as for community supports for parents if they need extra supports. I know it's a lot going on. A lot of children are really struggling right now, especially not having that connection. So it's important to tune in and make sure that they're getting what they need. Yeah, so I think that's, I would, anytime I'm open to having a conversation. If I can't figure out the answer, I'll find it, or I'll find somebody who can. So nice meeting you all.
Thank you, Megan. And like Megan said, next month we're going to be talking about mental health in our children and parents too at the PTO meeting. And so these questions right here, it would be great if we could get answers or just some feedback from you guys. You can send all of your answers either through the chat box tonight, or you can send it to meganargo@gmail.com. And these questions, along with her email address, will be in the newsletter that's going out on Monday, and we'll include that another time as well. Okay, now it's opportunity to hear from some of our different committees and different things going on within the PTO. Jen Sims is doing our PTO website, and she's done a great job of keeping this up to date for us. She, I think I said at the beginning of the meeting, is driving right now, so she's not able to speak, but it's really important. We talk about this a lot every year, and I think that there's often a lot of questions as to why it's important to be registered or update your information on the PTO website. One thing that would be really great as these meetings are on Zoom is you can actually sync your calendar and get the PTO calendar stuff immediately put into your phone. And so like for instance, tonight, you could find the link to the Zoom meeting straight through your calendar. And then hopefully we'll have tons of other things that we can put on the PTO, the calendar of events as well, and they'll be synced to your calendar. You can also, it's important that you update your directory information, make sure that you've updated what teachers your students have. your address, your phone number, if you're comfortable sharing that. And keep in mind too, for security purposes, nobody that's not registered on the website will be able to access that information. This is also a great way to find out about volunteer opportunities. You can specifically find something that you want to volunteer for, or you can fill out the time and talent survey. And that way, if we ever have a need for instance, a baker or somebody to help us do graphic design, then we can go through the database and see the different things that people have completed as their talents and their strengths. We also talked about during the budget portion of the meeting, the Feed the Bear, which is the hassle-free campaign money that you can donate that goes straight to the PTO, and you can do that through the website. It's also an opportunity or a place that you can purchase the spiritware that we've got in our stock room, and we're going to be doing a custom drive for that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We often will get, sorry, there's a typo there, it should say directory. We often will get email requests. Somebody might want to be able to send a birthday invitation to everybody in their kids' class. And we can't give that out, the school can't give that out, but you can find that by going to the PTO website, assuming that people have included their information this current year. Okay, for yearbooks, we are still selling some yearbooks from the 2019-2020 school year. We had a lot of requests when we did belonging pickups a couple weeks ago. There are people that still would like to be able to purchase a book from last year. The deadline is actually tomorrow. The warehouse, they held on to a good number of books for us. They're $17 each, and you can purchase them through the website. Once you log in and you're registered, you can go to the stock spiritware tab, and you'll see a link there for yearbooks. So the deadline is tomorrow for that. We are still not quite sure what we're going to do for this current year. So that's a decision that we hope to make before the next couple of months. The attractions campaign, it started on Monday. I'm going to turn this one over to Noelle.
Hi, can you hear me? All right. I just wanted to thank everybody again for joining tonight. As the board approached this year's planning, we kind of wanted to really look at fundraising, and knowing that this year was an unusual year, we wanted to pick things that were useful because we were asking people for their money in a time when some people might not have as much money as they did before. So we looked at attractions and realized that attractions adapted to the changes that they needed to adapt to for all the COVID guidelines. And they've actually really created a very useful product that they now will ship directly to everyone, and it's completely contactless. So the campaign started on Monday. We're excited to be able to share that with everyone. You'll see links here in this spreadsheet or in this PowerPoint, but there's also been links in the newsletter, on Facebook, and many other ways. So the link is very simple. You go, you fill out all of the information. Your book's sent to your billing address. Just make sure that when you're filling out the form that Baker-Butler is in the Easy Pay code. And this year, because of all the shipping costs, we make just a little bit less, but we make $8.75 for the $25 purchase of the book. The book was enhanced to include a lot of takeout options, which a lot of people are ordering now. And here is a list of some of the logos here on this page of all of the things that could be included, that are included in the book. So there's some great local places. We think this is a great opportunity to share in local businesses, helping local businesses, as well as helping our PTO. A lot of these businesses have helped the PTO in the past as well. So this is a great way to give back and actually get useful savings through the book. So the deadline for this is October 9th. We're doing a 3-week campaign. If you have any questions or have any problems ordering, you can contact me. I have a special email address for this campaign. And I hope that you guys see usefulness in this product and purchase them so we can have a good 3-week campaign. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, spirit wear, like we were saying before, there's a stock of stuff that we still have from last year, and you can look and see online. The inventory is up to date, and those orders will be filled. And you can pick them up in the front office. Last year, if you purchased a t-shirt, we'd put it in your kid's backpack for you, but obviously we cannot do that this year. So we'll just make sure it's in the front office and let you know when it's there. And you can arrange a time with either Lisa or Carol and pick it up. We're going to be doing a custom drive in either late October or early November, focusing on sweatshirts and long sleeves. And this was a big thing last year because we stock a lot of blue and the solid colors, but a lot of kids really want like tie-dye or hot pink or something. So we're going to try to get creative with some of the options that we're going to have and target that for about 4 weeks in late October or early November. So stay tuned for information about that in our next PTO meeting. And here's a new initiative. Cassie Morrison is going to take the floor here and talk about this.
Okay, so first, I feel like I would be remiss as the volunteer coordinator if I did not point out that the suggestion for this actually came from a parent. I say this, so whenever you guys have any ideas, please, please, please email us. Even if you don't email me, email Allison, Noelle, anyone. We are always open to great ideas. So speaking of great ideas, I am kind of super psyched about this program. So the idea behind this was this year looks so different for our teachers. There's so many unknowns, so many uncertainties. And we kind of thought, but the only thing that we know for certain is that we have just amazing teachers at Baker-Butler. And how can we love on them this year without being physically present with them? So when the suggestion came to us, I kind of chatted with Allison and we ran over some ideas on how this would work. How could we adopt a teacher? So here's what we were thinking it would look like. We were thinking that you guys, if you're interested in adopting a teacher, you can email the email address that's on the link here. What we'll do is once we have enough parents signed up, we will randomly match you with teachers. So you may not end up with your kiddo's teacher, but we will match you with a teacher. Once you're matched with a teacher, we'll connect you to that teacher via email. I know you're probably wondering, what does it mean? What am I doing when I adopt a teacher? And this is where I think it gets super cool and super fun and creative. So it totally means whatever you want it to mean. We didn't want this to be cumbersome for you. So we did come up with kind of one-page sheet that you can pass out to your teacher that kind of just gives you a list of some of their favorite things, like from their color to their favorite drink, whatever you can think of. It's just a way for them to highlight some things that they like. And you can roll with it from there, whatever you want to do. This also doesn't have to be something huge. We were thinking it could just be like a monthly email to them or a note that your kiddo handwrites or you yourself, letting them know that they're doing a great job. Because whether it's your kiddo's teacher or not, I feel like from the beginning of this call, we can tell that they're blowing me away. Anyway, so we thought that would be a way for us to kind of keep connected, keep our families in touch with our teachers this year. I'm trying to think I'm going off the cuff and not reading my notes because I'm getting, super Cassie about it. So big thing. We're going to start with classroom teachers and then we're going to roll out the program from there. So our goal is for as many families to sign up as they want. So you are not tied to just signing up for one teacher. If you're like, I have 3 kiddos at Baker-Butler, we'd love to take 3 teachers, we're never going to turn you away from that. I think the more teachers that we can get adopted, the better. Another thing this is another suggestion that was given to us that I think is important to note. One of our board members suggested that we even set up kind of an email on the PTO side where we can kind of email, call it like Tips Tuesday, where we can kind of email you some ideas on ways to like love on your teacher. Like, hey, like Starbucks is having this like special fall thing. You could shoot them an email with like a $5 gift card. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be monetary. It's just a way to let them know like, hey, we see you. We know this is hard and we're in this together. Okay, I'm sure I like went over all my time, but I'm super excited to hear from you. I hope you guys, if you have any questions, you'll reach out to me. And I hope you'll take some teachers this year.
Thank you. There was no time limit, Cassie. Did you say how that you can coordinate with your teacher about how to get gifts, how to
oh yeah, so that's yes. So on the sheet that we can provide to you to give your teacher, at the bottom it will have a preferred method of delivery. What they know, like we have explained to the teachers, is that they can tell us if they're comfortable giving you their home address. They can. If not, we're going to have a bin at the school where you can drop off items to them if you would like to give, actual physical things to them. So we'll have like a tub that's sitting, right inside the door, so you can properly, socially distance, but you can still get those items to them. So they'll let you know what they're comfortable with, and we can coordinate from there.
Awesome. Spread the word about that one too, guys. That's huge. Okay. All right, before we get into questions and answers, I just want to put this out there, put this on your calendar. October 29th is a Thursday, it's a month from now, and we are going to be having our next PTO meeting over Zoom, and we're going to have guest speakers, Miles Nelson and Courtney Burnson, our brand new counselor, focusing on mental health, and also hearing from Megan after the parent council meeting about mental health going on within Albemarle County schools. Also, if you haven't had a chance to buy an attractions guide, you've got until October 9th, and spread the word on that one as well. The last thing too is just a reminder to get on the website and update your information or register if you're new. Teachers absolutely should be registered on the website as well too. So Dee Dee and Randy, make sure that they know that as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and Noelle, if you've got any questions, if the questions have been coming in through the chat, you want to ask them? Okay.
So just a few. One, a parent wanted to know if the school counselors have hours and for counseling, not for tech support. So
yeah, they're working normal school hours, and what they're doing is just checking in classrooms as invited, but they're always accessible. So if you reach out to a counselor, they'll get back to you pretty quickly. We were going to do office hours, but it's just not confidential. So we're pretty much available. So otherwise they're doing classroom lessons and things, but reach out by email and they'll find a time within the same day.
Okay. A question came in about the shirts being delivered. If someone brought spirit wear, if it could be delivered on the Friday packet delivery. And I think that we already confirmed that that can't happen, but I wanted to make sure.
Correct. You can only have educational materials going home on the school buses.
Okay. The only other thing was someone had a statement about assessments. And I know this is true for my daughter as well. They mentioned that Mondays are typically a little bit different school day than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, because their kids are coming off of a weekend and they're a little more scattered, things like that. And they wondered if assessments really had to happen on Mondays, if it could be focused towards the middle of the week.
Yeah, Dee Dee or Randy, if you want to jump in on that, I'll just say that we have 4 days to work with, and the assessment window is pretty set. But if either of you want to jump in and kind of talk about how you're doing it.
I can jump in and just say that we're also sharing other teachers to help us assess. And so like in kindergarten, first, second, third, I know there's 6 teachers and there's, upwards of 18, 19 kids, and we're still teaching. But we're trying to use the people that we have available. So sometimes it's just whatever day we can have that person help us. So you might see testing on a Monday for this class, or a Tuesday for this class, or a Wednesday for this class. And that's just because we have people available to help us on that day. So you know, if we can work that out, I'm sure, you know, that could be like if you know that your child struggles on the Monday and that's probably not the best day, like let your child's teacher know. But a lot of it has to do with having the help and the resources to get our assessments done in the time that we have with each kid. So, and I don't know if Dee Dee wants to add anything to that, but.
I think you did a great job.
That's all the questions that were on here. There was a mention of, let me read through the chat. Hold on 1 minute. Someone mentioned something about using the school address and phone number if you're not comfortable with their personal info being in the directory. Am I reading that right?
I'll just say it. Just to remind the teachers to use use the school address and phone number, so that way not the whole school doesn't have their personal address and telephone number.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, Dee Dee and I do tell them that because it's important that they register and that they can use the school address. I use mine because I have kids there, and if kids want to contact, but if they don't have children there, they can use the school address and phone number.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention was that October 2nd is National Custodian Day. So I think it's a great idea to send a letter to the school for the custodian staff. So if anybody else feels like they want to do that, please do. And you can send it directed to Mr. Charles. That's all the questions we have, Allison.
Okay. And one thing that wasn't included in a slide, but I think that it's important to note also, is that if you're on Facebook, there are grade level groups as a way to provide extra support for parents. So if you've got a 4th grader, look for the 4th grade group. It's specifically for the purposes of encouragement, questions, how's it going in the virtual school environment, as a way for parents to talk to one another right now. Grade level specific, and it's separate from the PTO Facebook page. It's another way of getting communication out there. All right. Well, I think that that's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Seth and Dee Dee and Megan and everybody who contributed. I really appreciate that. Again, submit any questions and look for more information coming out in all the Monday newsletters. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Gracias. Bye.